Most people think servant leadership is soft, invisible, or just about being nice. But here's the truth. If you can't see it, it's not happening. You should be able to see servant leadership and how your team grows. You should be able to feel it in the culture. You should be able to hear it in the voices of those you lead. Because real servant leaders don't need power, they grow people. Today, I'm giving you a behind the scenes look into Sprint 4 of the Serial Scrum Masterclass, where we went bone marrow deep into leadership and continuous improvement. And I'm going to show you how to make your leadership not just effective, but visible, lasting, and most of all, transformational. Inside this video, we're going to talk about what real servant leadership looks like and what it absolutely doesn't. We're going to talk about how to influence without authority. And then finally, we're going to talk about why your values, not your title, drives real results. Already in the masterclass? Don't miss lesson number 5, where we explore how to level up your impact using AI, Scrum, and live team feedback. Oh, by the way, don't forget to grab my top 50 AI prompts, the same ones I use to coach Scrum teams in real time. It's a total game changer. Why? Because servant leadership is not about being in charge. It's about creating change so powerful that it leaves evidence. Welcome, Serial Scrum Masters. Welcome to Sprint 4. This week's sprint goal is leadership and continuous improvement with Agile tools. Let's dive right into it. Table of contents. We have 6 main lessons to convey with you this week. Lesson number 1, principles of servant leadership in Agile. Lesson number 2, coaching for individual and team growth. You're going to be using artificial intelligence to come up with some techniques for coaching and collaboration. This is your activity and deliverable for this week. Lesson number 3, ethical frameworks for Agile leadership. Lesson number 4, continuous improvement practices. Lesson number 5, introduction to AI and Scrum practices. And finally, lesson 6, tools and resources for Agile mastery. Lesson number 1, principles of servant leadership in Agile. Let's start with the baseline of understanding servant leadership. What is it? So let's talk about a few of the core tenets of servant leadership. Servant leadership prioritizes the growth and well-being of team members. It focuses on serving others, emphasizing empathy, listening, and stewardship to foster an environment where everyone can flourish. Let's go super bone marrow deep in regards of servant leadership. As we have identified, when it comes to servant leadership, which is oftentimes misunderstood, success is measured by the growth and success of other people. Okay, Scott, so you telling me if I am a leader on any team, be it Scrum, Agile, or what have you, and if there is no growth in that team, then that is not servant leadership. You are absolutely correct. That is not servant leadership, because success is measured by the growth and success of others. Well, whom are others? Well, we're talking about people, we're talking about the services that you provide, the amazing products that you are actually creating and getting out there to market. Your customers are super duper happy with what you're providing out there, that great value. To me, I believe the greatest servant leader of all time is Jesus Christ. When I came into this world, my grandmother was a pastor, my mother was a pastor, and my older sister, the Reverend Dr. Sharon Adams, she took it to the highest level in the family. And I shared that with you so that you could understand that I really didn't have a choice whether I learned Christianity or not. I didn't have a choice whether I learned about Jesus Christ or not. I was born into that ideology. As I got older, I began to learn of other legendary servant leaders. Like whom? Well, I'm thinking about Mother Teresa. I'm thinking about Nelson Mandela. I'm thinking about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Gandhi, Buddha, and the list goes on and on and on. They all have many followers around the world to this day. They embodied servant leadership because outside of Jesus, none of the other servant leaders actually had any power to convince or do anything to another person. Jesus had that power, but he did not use that power. He gave us a choice whether we believe in him or not. He embodied servant leadership. Now, the other thing I want to think about with servant leadership is you and I know that as Scrum Masters, we don't have any power. So we have to figure out as Scrum Masters, how are we going to influence individuals and teams to take greater responsibility for their actions and their outcomes? Spoiler alert, Scrum is all about ownership. The product owner owns the product backlog, the Scrum Master owns the adoption of the Scrum Guide, and the developers own how the thing is going to be done. We lead without using authority or force. People choose to follow us because of what we stand for. I remember my grandmother telling me something when I was very, very young. I didn't understand it at the time, but I understand it intimately at this stage of my life and career. And she said this, son, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And it's because of what you stand for that you will find people will follow you based upon your values and your principles, which are the things that you stand for. Now, your values and principles are super duper important because, as I forestated, your behavior is going to align with what you believe. If you want to change your habit, I believe you have to go all the way to the root cause and first take a look at your values and your principles. What do you believe? What belief have you made into the truth that is actually not the truth? Like for me, the example I grew up on was money was the root of all evil. As I got older, I had to overcome some sacred cows as it pertains to money. Since I thought money was evil, I had a threshold that I never made over $100,000 for most of my life on an annual basis. But when I went back and read the Bible for myself and really dissected that script, I'm like, oh, God is a God of abundance. He wants us to maximize our money, maximize our talents as much as we possibly can. That is a great steward of our talents, our money, and whatever we are empowered to oversee. That is the way it's supposed to be done. Not play defense, not play it safe. As, oh, I'm just only going to make $50,000 this year. I know in my heart of hearts that I can make way more money than that, but because I believe money is the root of all evil, then I'm going to stop right here at this $50,000 because this is exactly what I need. I don't need no more. I don't need no less. So I don't need $50,001. $50,000 is just fine with me. Are you able to see how a value might hurt you in regards of your money making opportunities, in regards of how you move and navigate throughout seeking opportunities, taking opportunities, or whatever the case may be? Okay. And then the other thing as a servant leader we want to do is we want to inspire others to higher greatness. Okay, the vision I have in my mind right now is my first speech at Toastmasters. When you do your first speech at Toastmasters, it's an icebreaker speech. The thought process behind that is it's easy for you to talk about yourself, although we know that the top two things that human beings are scared of in the world is getting in front of people, speaking, public speaking, and snakes. Those are the top two things. So to try to help you overcome that fear easier, it will be helpful for you to talk about yourself first before you get into any other types of speeches that you're going to deliver on that podium. Now, if you're able to make it through that speech, I was able to make it. And then some of the feedback that I got as a result of that speech was, you held on to that podium like it was getting ready to fly away. That was one of the feedbacks I remember. In my mind, my voice was sounding like Mickey Mouse. But to the audience, my voice did not sound like Mickey Mouse. It was very clear, and they thought it was a great job. That was the positive feedback I got. But the negative feedback I got was holding on to that podium and not working the entire space that I had available to me at that particular point in time. As you can imagine, I took that feedback, and the next time I gave a speech, I wasn't holding on to that podium like I was about to lose my life and something that was about to happen. I was working the floor. I got better and better over time, taking in that feedback. And every time I delivered a speech, it was like an iteration, and I got better and better. So let's fast forward 1 year later after I gave that icebreaker speech. Guess what? I'm not the same person. I'm not the same speaker. I'm not that same timid guy that was fearing getting in front of strangers speaking the very first time on that podium, holding it like it was getting ready to fly away, like a tornado was trying to pull us up in the center of the eye. Yeah. I get up there now, I can't wait to grab the mic and just start flowing. So all that to say, I want to give you a visual of what servant leadership looks like and how do you know when you got there. So I'm thinking about your individual team members. You should be able to see this just like the Toastmasters example. You should have individual team members that when you joined the team, they was like giving their icebreaker speech, holding on to the podium. 6 months later, 1 year later, after your legendary servant leadership, now that person is working that thing through the entire podium. That's a beautiful thing when you help someone go from icebreaker level to a level of confidence and proficiency. I won't say mastery because I believe mastery is a lifelong journey that we will never obtain. I'm always on a journey towards mastery. I don't think I will ever get there. I like to tell my brain that in that specific way because I made the mistake early in my career and said, hey, I have arrived. And what happened when I did that? Well, since I told my brain that I know everything I need to know, it stopped seeking. It stopped being curious. It stopped having curiosity. It stopped wanting to learn. It stopped wanting to listen to audiobooks. It stopped wanting to read books. And yes, that's when I began to make less and less money. Then I rediscovered the more I learn, the more I earn. It goes hand in hand. And here's another cool thing I want to share with you while I'm on that topic, because today's topic is also about continuous improvement. The more I learn, when you do the same thing, you're going to come up with this conclusion. The more you learn, the different levels of, let's say, maturity or mastery that you get to, assuming that you're getting closer to mastery, every level that you get to, when you get on that level, you realize, wow, there's a ton I don't know. That's the feeling I got when I became a professional Scrum trainer. After about 1.5 years or 4 hours per day learning and training and this and that and the third, and when I finally got my professional Scrum trainer designation, I was actually depressed. Why? Because I'm at the top of the mountain. I'm at the top of the game. I'm at the top of my career. And I just realized I still have an awful lot to learn. Wow. So hopefully you can understand that. Now, what is the importance of empowering teams? Empowering teams enhances ownership and accountability, leading to higher engagement and productivity. It involves delegating authority and encouraging autonomy, enabling teams to make informed decisions that drive success. Remember, you're in an environment where you're dealing with professionals. They really don't need you to tell them what to do and how to do. They really need you to foster an environment like in the kindergarten class where you empower them to think, do, and act for themselves. When you do that, you are now embodying the principle of self-management in Scrum. Wow. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, it is. Now, fostering a culture of collaboration. A collaborative culture nurtures open communication and shared goals. By promoting teamwork and collective problem solving, leaders can create a safe space for innovation and effective conflict resolution. Safe space is the same as saying psychologically safe. You might hear those combination of words used interchangeably. We want to create a safe space, or we want to create a psychologically safe space. In most cases, you hear those combination of words, they talk about the same thing. Now, for you to visualize that, think about how psychologically safe a kindergarten classroom was for all the students. Remember, we had all types of students in class. We had different colors, different sex. I remember seeing individuals with handicaps and disabilities in my kindergarten class. We literally had people from all walks of life, not just race, not just sex, also with abilities and disabilities. Okay. Something to think about. Thank you so very much. Have an amazing day. If you want to lead better, grow faster, and leave a visible impact, I'm going to give you a blueprint. Step one, define what you stand for. No, really, what you stand for. No, really, really, really. What do you stand for? Do you stand for the Scrum Guide? Do you stand for the Agile Manifesto? Or do you stand for something else? Doesn't matter. So long as you stand for something. Why is that important? Because your values drive your behavior. And in Scrum and Agile, recall we're playing a behavior game, correct? Very nice. Step two, serve your team into greatness. Don't just manage, mentor them to that level of greatness. In doing so, you got to keep in mind, I never seen anyone take a team greater than where they were. For example, if you're not learning, if you're not curious, but yet you want that value to be on your team, it's going to be hard for you to sell that deal if you're not embodying what you're trying to convey to other people. And step number three, use Scrum. Have feedback loops. Use Agile tools to coach, measure, and iterate your leadership. Because if your leadership isn't showing up in the growth of your people, the products, and others that you serve, then you're not done yet. You're not done. The Serial Scrum Masterclass is always in session. New sprints kick off the first of every month, and yes, everything is recorded so you can catch up at your own pace. If you're ready to enroll now, all you need to do is go over to serialscrummaster.com and make it happen. Now, here's the part I really don't want you to miss. We have a Scrumcademy affiliate program where you get 40% commission for every referral that you send me for the Serial Scrum Masterclass. In fact, I have people making money whom have never taken the class themselves. Hey, they tried to get the money right? Exactly. Yeah. Well, Scott, I ain't got the money right now. Refer me to a few people. Hey, we use that to cover your costs. Now, that's business. Very nice. So my invitation to you is to share the transformation, invite your friends, invite your network, use the proceeds to make your investment pay for itself, and maybe even turn it into a profit. Woo, that's so good. Mastering millionaires, baby. Don't forget, mastering millionaires. That's what we're all about. Make money while making impact. Make money while making impact. I'm going to say that again. That was so good. Make money while making impact. That's so beautiful. That's what I call servant leadership in action. Drop a comment down below and answer the following question. What's one sign of true servant leadership that you have seen or lived? I give it to you again. What is one sign of true servant leadership you've seen or lived? Like this video, subscribe, and hit that doggone notification bell because the next episode might just unlock your next level. Be agile, do Scrum, be legendary, and grow people while you're in the process. I see you inside the channel. I see you in the class. Let's get it.